questions that we're not going to talk about here, so I guess I'll address this now. Shortly before this stream, you know, Ben and Chad had a post they wanted to share with the community.
I'm not
Ben Irving and Chad Robertson.
He's got much nicer hair.
And we worked with them to put this message out there. It's up on Reddit. You can read about it there. We're not going to go into detail about it here. It's probably best if you just read it for yourself there. Here's an update on thoughts about loot and the 90-day calendar. A lot of different things in there. We're pretty honest in some stuff. So definitely go take a read. Let's see. Not too many questions.
Is the stronghold?
Yeah.
And I'm happy and looking forward to hearing their feedback as we continue to make more content and hopefully make it better as we go forward.
Yeah, and we'll just close saying if you join later, go read the Reddit post, see the messaging that we put out there, and we'll be in touch with when our next live stream is going to be.
Why isn't it in the fucking game without a pre-order? You blind? Stupid fucking fanboyism.
Microtransactions and
DRM.
Downloadable content.
What's up, gamers? Welcome to Gamer Rant. You saw the beginning of this video, so we're going to be talking about Bioware, Anthem, their constant ignoring. So let's just jump into this. I actually mentioned this not in the most recent video that I uploaded, but the other one where we're talking about the developers for MK11 lying. I basically mentioned that, if developers and publishers were more honest, we wouldn't be in this situation. And when I look at something like Anthem and Bioware, and not only do we find out that they're still being ignored, they're not actually covering the issues that the players of the game feel should be top priority. Instead, they're creating streams for new fucking missions that they've created. And I mean, let's inherently look at this. I'm going to use Fallout 76 as an example. Do you want Bethesda to create new missions for Fallout 76? Or would you rather them fix all the fucking bugs in the game first? Which would you give higher priority to? If you said new missions, there's clearly something wrong with you. So why is... And I think one of the problems here is when we look at review bombing. So review bombing is seen as a relatively negative thing. But honestly, when you look at games like Anthem, Fallout 76, Sea of Thieves, because it had a rocky launch as well, No Man's Sky, all prime examples of why games get review bombed, because they're examples of people attempting to communicate problems and issues with these developers and or publisher, and they're either ignored or they don't even actually try to resolve the actual problems that the players are focusing on. Instead, they want to create new missions or other bullshit like that. Or in the case of Bethesda, instead of fixing the bugs, they're going to release an update that basically changes stuff in the game to make it more grindy to force you to pay for microtransactions. So, when we look at it in this perspective, it makes sense that people review bomb because they know it's going to grab people's attention. They know that it's going to grab at least the media, specific to video games, not like your regular news, the media's attention. And if it can catch the media's attention, then it's eventually going to catch the publisher and the developer's attention. So I can understand why gamers do it, because there's prime examples out there of poor communication. In fact, there was a developer, I believe I actually put this in a screenshot of the tweet in one of my videos. I'm not going to do it in this video because I'm too fucking lazy. But there was a developer for, I believe, like Half-Life. He was before Valve created Steam, and they were mostly, a publishing company. He worked for them on a few games, and even he said that the reason why games get reviewed bombed is because there's no communication between the consumer and the company for them to honestly get feedback. And I think, the funny thing is that I don't really think the problem is that there isn't a way for them to communicate, because there's plenty of ways for us to communicate. I think the bigger problem here is that when we do communicate, they're silent on the subject, because somehow they feel as if if they were gonna be honest, then somehow that's going to be more detrimental either to the game or their future games that they're going to be releasing. And yet it's kind of funny that they fail to see that how ignoring is actually more detrimental than being honest and answering those questions that people actually want answers with, that is their current concern within a specific topic related to gaming. Not to mention, one thing that I've noticed when it comes to these online games, like Anthem, for example, is one excuse that is constantly used is, well, it's an online game, it's new, so it's going to have a rocky start. All right. This is 2019. Technology can evolve, graphics can evolve, even programming, the very programming code to create these games also evolves. The skills of the developers and the graphic artists can evolve. But you're going to sit there and you're going to tell me that creators of online-based games can't evolve with the times to realize, you know what, we probably should be prepared a little bit more before we go online. Because, this tired excuse of Anthem as an example is, well, it's an online game, so it's pretty much what I expected at its launch. But you shouldn't expect that. This is 2019, all right? I mean, the internet has even evolved faster than developers releasing an actual online game that works right off the bat. And there's literally nothing to say, no argument, no sound argument that could be made to say why they could not release an online game with absolutely no problems. Because this goes back to a video that I talked about developers making mistakes and they don't learn from their mistakes. This is the same concept here. All right? They can, not just one developer, but all developers that make online games, console or PC wise, and they have a rocky start. You have so many examples out there of developers and publishers doing this, and yet none of them have learned from this one fucking mistake. They all continue to repeat it. So this ideology or this belief that online games should not and will never work day one is bullshit. This is 2019. We have the technology and the capabilities. It's just they're too lazy. But going back to what I was talking about, the lack of communication is appalling. And, once again, that basically is a good, fine example of why games get review bombed. And, you have to honestly ask yourself, what is so hard from just being honest? Perhaps we need an example, right? We need an example. All right. Here's an example. Let's travel back in time. Let's imagine I look like Sean Murray. That's one of the team members of No Man's Sky, or as I like to call it, No Man's Lie.
So there's been a lot of controversy surrounding our game recently, the launch, how it's missing a lot of features, and I just want to apologize to our fans for the lack of content that we actually put in the final product, and the promises and the false information that we gave. That was dishonest on my part. That was dishonest on Hello Games' part. And we should have been more open to you. This is a project we've been working on. We're really passionate about it, and we should have been more passionate, not just for the game, but we should have been passionate for you, because tons of you people were passionate as well. And at the end of the day, I fucked up. I should have just been more honest in a lot of the interviews. When people asking questions about, online capabilities, is it going to have this, is it going to have that? I should have just been open and honest and not assume that we would be able to actually get it done. And, even if I would have made those claims still, I should at least have the dignity, the respect for you to come out and be like, hey, we're not going to be able to do this. We're not going to be able to do this for, at launch. The only way we would is if we, delayed the game, but the publishers don't want to do that. So, I just want to apologize to you for the game that we allowed to be released at launch for No Man's Sky. That was dishonest to you. That was dishonest to ourselves, our creativity. We know we can do better, and we will strive to fix this by giving free updates and all that good stuff. Although, in truth, if we would have done it right the first time, we wouldn't have to fucking do that.
Not that he would say the F word. But I think, if he did, it probably... you get an idea, though, right? What would be so hard of any person in the gaming industry coming out and doing exactly what I just did? Not pretending, but, They were actually open and honest. I guarantee you, if Sean Murray had come out, like, day 1, day 2, even a fucking week after the controversy, I think it would have definitely softened the blow, all right? Like, even in this modern age, there's still people that are like, fuck that game. I think if he would have came out with that kind of apology or something similar to that, even gamers that are diehard, I'm never touching No Man's Sky, would be like, you know what? I heard that they've been updating it and it's pretty good. So he did apologize. So I'm gonna jump back into this game and give it a chance. What is so hard for you developers and publishers to realize the simple truth? There's something that my mom always told me. Apparently, I'm assuming your parents never told you. And yes, I'm referring to developers and publishers. If you would just tell the truth, your punishment would be less. I remember when I was a teenager, I put my hand in the cookie jar. Quite literally. And that was an iteration that my mom told me when she confronted me about it, was, hey, which might sound weird to people. You're a teenager and your mom doesn't want you to get cookies. I had a really rough childhood. She was a little more strict. A lot of my aunts and uncles were like, I don't know why she does that, because that's not how her mom was. So anyway, back to the subject. Is if you tell me the truth, punishment will be less. So I was like, oh, okay, yes, I did do that. She basically just slapped me across the face, and that was the end of the discussion. Didn't get grounded or anything like that. The point is honesty is always better than lying and completely ignoring the consumer. I'd rather you give me the hard truth than trying to sweep it under the rug. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And remember, gamers, if you're not voicing your thoughts and concerns about the lack of communication from publishers and developers on any kind of controversial subject in the realm of gaming when they screw something up, and they lack the honest capacity and respect to admit when they were wrong and that they screwed up, you just might be a part of the motherfucking problem.